residential fires, plus several other fires. Now, it's disturbing because at a point in time, within some 72 hours, that is to say 3 days, we recorded 3 separate different fires. So this morning, we're asking, what are we doing wrong? What are we really doing wrong? Because we spend time to talk about fire prevention. We spend time to talk about, firefighting stuff. But it looks as if it's not going down well. So this morning, I ask you, what do you think we're doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? How do we get it right so we win the fight against fires? Are you fire safety conscious yourself? When it comes to fire, how conscious are you about fire? Such that before you leave home, you do the needful, you do some checks. And when you live in your workplace, you do some checks. When you light fire or you want to burn refuse and you set some fire up, do you monitor it till its end? One of the persons whose unfortunate incident, as we speak, and I'm sure that she's still counting her losses, is a very good friend of the show, a very good friend of mine, who owns Abofra World. Now, Abofra World is a school, and they do very well. I got to know of it that the school has, gotten bent when we were walking on Saturday during the Love FM Fitness Walk. And some people showed me, videos of the school burning. And I was like, what caused this? Listen, we're live on YouTube on Love 99.5 FM. If you join us on YouTube right now, we're showing you all the fires that has happened in this year on YouTube. Listen, you should go check it out. Because the Sofo Line fire, for example, it happened at a mechanic shop. And we're told that somebody swept, gathered the refuse together, set it on fire, did not attend to it. It caught one vehicle, and then several vehicles got burnt. Auntie Mariam, like I said, is on the phone lines right now. She is the owner of Abofra World. And like I said, she's lost several classrooms to fire. Auntie Mariam, I don't know whether to say good morning. I don't know whether to ask how are you doing, but thanks for making time to join us this morning.
My pleasure, David. A very good morning to you and our listeners.
You sound okay. Where are you getting the strength from after what has happened to you?
David, it can only be the peace of God and the gratitude of not having any child, any staff, any parent hurt or even having to lose a life. I think in these times I'm more grateful than sad.
So tell me, what happened?
David, around 6 p.m. On Friday, the 30th of January, we had, as at 6 p.m., we had just one child left after school, and we called his mom. She said her car had broken down, so she was on her way. We have a policy at the school that until the last child leaves, we can't have all staff away. So at least there must be a staff with the child. So I was here myself, and so was the academic head and the rest of the office staff. We asked the rest of the office staff to go because I had church in the evening, and then the academic head also did. I decided to drop off someone at 100 roundabout. In a few minutes later, about 15 minutes later, I got a call that there was an emergency at the school. I was just returning from 100 roundabout back to TUC where the school is located. Upon my arrival, I saw that people had gathered here and there was a huge flame. Prior to that, my husband had just also called. I had missed his calls, but I didn't know what it was. When the fire started, the academic head and the child stepped out of the school. The security man was also out. And then, we realized that it was from the back of the school where sometimes people come to burn rubbish. And so somebody had tried to burn just a small rubbish. You can see the burn over there, and it caught up to the top floor. And because of the materials, obviously, of the school, the books, the papers, and it really caught flame. And the upper part of the school also is made of cement boards and wood, so it really caught on very fast. The fire service did very well. Upon calling them, in less than a space of 10 minutes, they were here. The first tender was here. There were about 3 to 4 tenders. Unfortunately, the fire was really big, and think for lack of abundant resources, they had to wait for it to come down before they really got in. Unfortunately, that made it catch on to the next building. And so in all, we lost about 8 classrooms. And that's basically it. I must say, David, that sometimes we have kids here even after 7. It was only on Friday that we had almost everybody gone. And that is why I believe that maybe I am still grateful, because if it had happened during school time, if it had happened any other time where the kids were here, we knowing how difficult it is to even instruct children, I don't think we will be having this conversation even now. But I must say that the fire service, the electricity company of Ghana, the Ghana police, all the services who are relevant to this were very helpful, and the community as well. It's been amazing. They've been so supportive, the people in the area and everywhere around the world. Everybody's just calling in to share their solidarity with us, and we are very grateful. We are very grateful.
Auntie Mariam, let me ask you a few questions. So one of the things that stood out for me when you were answering the question as to what happened was that, yes, you gave credit to the fire service for coming on time and doing their work, but you also mentioned for lack of abundant resources. What do you mean by that?
David, I believe that as a person who's been exposed to the various sectors and services in our country, you can always tell that there are people who are willing and ready to work. I saw men who were ready to give their lives to save the situation, but I also saw men who were handicapped in a way. I believe that some of the tenders didn't have enough water, so some of them had to go and come back. Now, when the water also came, some of the water hose they used had holes in them, so the water couldn't project onto the fire, and so we had some of the water running on the ground instead of, But these men were still making. I'm saying this to give credit to them and also to mention that, look, I cannot even garnish this in any way. If these people had enough resources, had adequate, effective resources, I believe that we wouldn't have this situation right now. They were here within 7 minutes after the call. And as a school, we, on a regular basis, have trainings and drills for our children. We have enough fire extinguishers. We have over 20. Every class has one in front of it. They use some of our extinguishers. You understand? So if all things are even right, at the end of the day, and even the people are willing, what to work with is also tough. And we could also tell that these people are well trained in the sense that they were not just fighting fire. They were also trying to manage the emotions of the people involved. I remember just standing quietly. When I got there, I was just quietly watching, looking at the fire, and the leads would go around and they'll come back. Madam, track back over. Fine. But for the fact that in the midst of the chaos, they still found time to try to console me, In my mind, as I stood there, as much as the building was down, I want to emphasize that I was just still grateful. But I was also admiring the fact that if these people had all what they needed, oh my goodness.
They would have saved the situation. Now, you also mentioned, Auntie Mariam, that this fire started as a result of somebody who gathered rubbish and, set it on fire. How sure are you of this? And do you know that the individual who set the rubbish on fire?
Yes. So when I mentioned earlier that I realized that my husband had called me a couple of times, it was because somebody in the area who lives on a story building had seen someone lighting some rubbish at the back of the school. There's bare land, there's some kind of there's a waterway actually behind the school and on the side of the school. And so it's the last house or building on that lane. And so sometimes even during the day, we'll smell smoke, we'll go and quench the fire. You warn the people, they say, oh, yambapio, another time. So I think that for some time they've been engaging when we are not around, especially in the evenings, to do that. Now, the person who called my husband actually took a picture. Initially he didn't know it was going to get big. So the reason he called my husband was that, Nahamatan Brady, why Suja? That was his concern. So he said he was ironing. He came here. he turned around, and then the little fire he had seen earlier had become so big.
But you said again that this is not the first time they've set rubbish on fire. You also said that you've cautioned them for a number of times. They have not, stopped. Why didn't you report them to the assembly or to the fire service?
David, there's a waterway right behind the school. If we visit archives, you would even see that there's been a story about 5 years ago when some people tried to fill the waterway to create a road to their institution behind our school. And we had to stop it. We had to involve the assembly. We involved the courts. And when this issue went to court, because they were filling the waterway to create a path or a road or
an access road, yeah.
An access road. How is this even possible? At the end of the day, we have always reported these things. And then I must also say that the assembly has also done their bit, because I remember that they took these people to court and stopped them. The only issue was that the debris that had been deposited there were not collected because the courts just stopped them. They didn't tell them to carry whatever away. And this was a religious body. Forgive me if I do not mention it.
I hear. No, I understand. So as we speak, you have closed your school, haven't you?
Yes, we have closed for a week. We have pleaded with parents to bear with us to clear the place and have some structural and civil work done, and to make the place clean and safe for the children.
If I should ask you to give me an estimated cost of damage, how much do you think you need to get back, the school to the way it was before?
David, I have not been able to access the cost of the building, but the contents of the building, of the rooms that have burned down, is roughly about 2.5 million Ghana cedis. 2.5
million Ghana cedis. These are materials or items in the room?
Yes.
And yes. When you say 2.5, is it 2.1 or 2.5?
2.5, David.
2.5. What are these items that have gotten burnt that amount to 2.5?
David, these are desks that have been currently installed for all the 8 classrooms, computers, interactive screens, boards, teachers' materials, and also all the textbooks of the students have burnt down.
Wow.
This particular weekend was a project weekend. And so the children were not taking textbooks home. They were given projects. So that means that everybody's texts and exercises. And, we run a hybrid school where we have the GES and the Cambridge. And so we've had to have two textbooks for each subject and all those kind of stuff. So it's a whole lot. For the other materials, you can't quantify children's work.
No, I understand.
Then I must also say that beyond the classrooms, it's also affected the main building where all the glasses are shattered, computers are melted, air conditioners are all melted. And
And these are all a result of somebody who set rubbish on fire, did not attend to it, and as we speak, aside from the building itself, you are saying that you estimatedly it's going to cost you about 2.5 million Ghana cedis to get those items back.
About David. For now, we have pleaded with the parents to give us the week, but the teachers are having virtual school with the students. By God's grace, we started yesterday. For the preschool and kindergarten, we have created packs and packets for them where parents are picking them up because of their hands-on activities.
I hear you.
We are doing everything possible to make sure that the school comes in full swing on Monday, God willing. And God being our help, we will come back.
You will bounce back. I'll be there like I showed you yesterday. I would have to pass by. But do me a favor. I would like for you to send me before and after pictures and videos so we can share it with our viewers on YouTube, because we're live on YouTube on Love 90.5 FM. So send me some pictures and videos of before and after, please, on WhatsApp.
David, thank you. I will do that.
I'm grateful.
Thank you so much for this.
I'm grateful. Yes. And like we said, this is a small fire that started on Friday and has caused this huge damage to this individual. I have with me the fine gentleman who speaks for the fire service in the region. Peter Ade is with me. P.
Yeah, Dave. Good morning.
Can we say it's a good morning? Based on what we just heard and things that are happening around us, can we really say, good morning?
Yes, we have life. And like they say, if you have life, you have everything.
Yeah.
Fortunately for us, all the fires that we've experienced so far, the high-profile ones, we didn't lose any life. Yes. Once a life is lost,
then it's a big deal.
Yes,
and that's where I want to start my conversation with you from, because unlike last year same time, we had more fires than we've had in 2026, although the fires have still been up. I think we have 125 fires in 2026. But we're told that these are high-profile fires. What does that mean?
Good morning to your listeners.
And our viewers on YouTube and Facebook.
Well, yes. Thank you for the opportunity. In fact, if you look at the fires so far, from January to 31st, from 1st January to 31st, 2026, we've had 132 fires. If you compare that to last year, in fact, we've been able to, there's a decline. And same period last year, we had 187 fires. So there's about 55 fires.
Fire reduction.
Yes. That amounts to about 29% reduction in fires. So this one, the ones we're experiencing this year, we've had some few high-profile ones, and they are mostly big fires. Let me put it that way. They are big fires. I
remember that Aunajum, Atafokwanta, the settlement even they have there. Again, Atafokwanta, I remember that of Atonsu, Bukro fires, and from all that you have heard so far, what you've gathered so far, what would you say are the top 3 causes of these recent fires?
The recent ones are all due to negligence.
Negligence,
yes. Negligence, and if I want to go into it, the way we handle naked fires, because from what Auntie Mariam just said, somebody was burning rubbish, left it unattended, and it caused that mess.
What about the one at Sofolai?
Sofolai, same thing. That is what the preliminary investigations pointed to. Somebody was burning rubbish, left it unattended, and it caused that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a similar thing happened last year around GBC.
Yes.
The mechanic land area there.
Asafu, Vitamu, around GBC, we experienced the same similar thing. Somewhere, Kwadasu,
Peter, what I'm driving at is, so with all the education we keep churning out, and the same thing being repeated, is that to suggest that we're not learning? Is that to suggest that we're not getting the right approach to curb these things? What is the problem?
For us at Fire Service, we are actually hitting it hard, because almost every time when we get the opportunity, we talk about some of these things. We talk about how people should handle naked fires. And like we always say, we have our responsibility. We are living up to it. We are educating people. We expect the people to also take the message and apply them. Because we talk about these things, and once we talk about it, we expect that the public also have a role to play, and their role is to listen to us and do what we say.
The fires that we talk about, where, for example, you heard Auntie Mariam, narrate her problem, her ordeal, that somebody was burning refuse. Yesterday, myself, Leo Eugene, we were having a conversation about this, and Eraso says that in the bylaws, you cannot just get up and set refuse on fire, but you need a permit. Is that true?
That is the assembly bylaws. Every assembly have their bylaws, and we have to consult the assembly to be able to. But I do not have that.
But what do you make of people who say, "Have swept or have gathered rubbish, and I'm setting it on fire"?
I think it's not a good practice. It's not a good thing to do. In fact, in this day and age, we have people who go around to collect refuse. So you give it to them and let them dispose it off properly. I'm sure all the assemblies have places where they dispose of their refuse. So, and they have people who go around to collect these refuse. So give it to them. Give it to them. For us at Fire Service, we know a lot of the time it will be difficult to implement some of these things, because there are some people who, for one reason or the other, will not want to give their refuse to. So they want to burn it. We've actually showed you how best to do it. And we keep on saying it, that if you must burn, for one reason or the other, you must burn. Ensure you stand by it. with a bucket of water,
Are there punishments that are meted out to such culprits? Because Auntie Miriam says, well, there are these people who will often burn the rubbish. They've cautioned them a couple of times. They're still doing it. Now this has happened. I don't believe that these people have what it takes to assist her with a 2.5 million Ghana cedis damage to materials, not a building. She has not put a cost to the building yet. These are to materials. Are there punishments available for such people?
So if the bylaw says that you are not to burn without a permit, then it will prefer punishment for such acts.
But shouldn't you, as a fire person, shouldn't you be privy to some of the bylaws and what they say? So when you go out there and you see some of these things, at least you know what the law says.
Every assembly has their bylaws. Every assembly have their bylaws. So it will be very difficult for me to speak to it because I'm not privy to such arrangements by the assembly where she is. But what I can say is that if for the laws of Ghana, if you burn with the intention to cause harm, that is arson, and that is catered for under the Criminal and Other Offences Act. But if it is due to negligence, I'm afraid there is no law to, except maybe if the assemblies have specific bylaws that speak to that issues. But nationally, I don't know if there is any law that.
With these fires that we are witnessing, how much would you say illegal connections or poor wiring is also contributing to these things?
Yes. It is not just due to negligence as a result of the way we handle naked fires, but there are other causes as well. Illegal wiring is one of them. Unattended cooking is one of them. In fact, a lot.
Do we go around? Let's say, for example, the markets, to ascertain whether people have done illegal connections or are not using the electricity properly. Maybe so you have an extension board, you have overloaded sockets in there. Do you go around and caution people, punish people? Do you go around?
Yes, we do that. We go around and caution people. We've had instances where we had to also punish people. I want to use KJT as an example. We have a fire post there. We have men there that go around to check some of these things. So when they see them, according to the rules of engagement at the KJTR market, they sometimes seize them, hand it over to the management of KJTR, and they deal with the people. Okay. There are times where the shops of people have been closed because of some of these.
So things. We're not supposed to be cooking our markets.
No.
Unfortunately, people cook in the markets.
Yes.
We're not supposed to do illegal connections. Unfortunately, people do illegal connections. We're not supposed to sweep and leave the rubbish unattended to and all that because it's caused the sulfur line fires where several cars got burnt.
Yes.
Similar thing has happened to this beautiful school, Abrofa World. How come people see these things and don't report them? And even if they want to report, who should they report to?
Okay, so if it is in the market, there are market authorities you have to report to wherever you find yourself. For instance, I'm sure there are some unions there who operate. You can also report to the fire service.
If I report to the fire service, what action will you take? So let's say somebody often sweeps and leaves the fire unattended. If I should report to the fire service, what action will be taken?
So we will liaise with the assembly, and if they have laws that talk about these things, we'll apply those laws.
There are people who say that because we don't punish, we don't sanction people who do some of these things, that is how come these things are still going on. You agree?
So like I told you, people have received punishments for some of these things.
The people who sweep the sulfur line, have you identified whoever it was that swept and left the fire unattended for the person to be punished? She says she knows who, Abrofa World, who swept and was burning the rubbish. Will you go after this person and punish the person?
That's what I'm saying. We as an institution will have to liaise with the assembly to be able to.
When will you do this? If you want to liaise, when will you do this?
When will we do this?
Yes.
I mean, we as it is now, I can say that we are still conducting investigations. Even though we know preliminary what caused it, we can be able to do this once investigations conclude.
Well, listeners, this is Love Nights 9.5, and we're not just on radio, we're also live on YouTube on Love Nights 9.5 FM. You can join us on YouTube and get to appreciate the fires that we have witnessed so far in the year 2026. It's that bad. For that of our Brofa world, it hurts me because she's put in all the necessary measures. She said each and every class has a fire extinguisher. She's giving drills to the pupils. I mean, she's doing everything about fire safety. But here we are, an individual sweeps, gathers rubbish, sets it on fire, and her whole 8 classrooms are gone, plus some administrative buildings. When fire, breaks out in places like markets, or let's say a school like this, how quickly can can your team realistically respond to get to the ground?
There are standards. There are standards. Per international standards, we are supposed to respond by 4 minutes. In fact, 5 minutes. You have 1 minute turn out and 4 minutes to respond. But over here, because of the distances, proximity of the fire stations, the distances of the fire stations, the availability of tenders,
hydrants,
and equipment,
even layouts and all that,
it makes it difficult for us to meet the international standard,
which is between 4 to let's say 5 minutes, roughly.
Yes.
So, how many minutes is your response time now?
We are doing about averagely 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm asking this question because there are several
especially averagely 8 minutes within the metropolis, but they are outside the metropolis is difficult because some of the stations are very, very far apart, and when the fire is not close to them, it will obviously take time before you can get there.
But you have often heard people say the fire service for Ambantem from Ambantem.
So we say that
so if
when
say
people
8 minutes,
say that, you have to probe further. You don't just leave it, because if somebody says, my friend, or my ma, or my fa, or my ma, ask the person what number they called. More often than not, the person hasn't called fire service. Madam Mariam can attest to the
well, for her, she said you came on time. And your men were really prepared and willing to work, according to her statement.
Yes.
But she also talked about some challenges, and she said that I'm trying to abandon. You don't have abundant resources. She even says that the hose that you're supposed to pump the water with had holes in them, and so the energy, the push that you're supposed to have gush out of these hoses, the pressure, thank you, were compromised because there are holes in these.
Dave, I mean, this is not the first time you are hearing this. Or this is the first time you are hearing us talk about.
But if you have these challenges,
resources.
Initially we knew about challenges you have with hydrants, if I may. We know challenges you have with hydrants.
Time and again
we've talked about challenges with hydrants and tenders.
Tenders, yes.
But hose.
I mean, it is part of the
equipment
you use. Yes, it is part of it.
So if the hose,
the hoses, they work with pressure. They work under pressure. If there's too much pressure, it can cause it to burst, depending on the condition available. Even if there are glasses on the floor, some of them can cause the hose to.
How much does one hose cost?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
So, if you're having quite a number of hoses that have holes in them, and you go to a fire scene, and the pressure from the hose is not adequate, you'll not be able to fight the fire well.
I'm saying, Dave, you are aware of the logistical challenges of the fire service. We've talked about it several times. I cannot independently verify the hose issues. But what I can say about it is that on the fire ground, the hose can burst.
But you also began by saying that yes, the hose have holes in them.
No, I didn't say the hose have holes in them.
Yeah, recording programming now.
I didn't say the hose have
because you're saying that yes, and you kept saying that I know the logistical challenges.
I'm saying yes. The way
because some of the hoses
she spoke about the fact that we don't have so much.
Yes.
And I'm saying this is not new to you.
So if you go to
on this show,
indulge me.
I've said it.
Indulge me. You go to a fire scene, and let's say glasses shatter, pressure from the hose causes holes to come into these hose. When you go back to your station, what do you do?
You change them. There are some you work on them. There are some of the holes you can work on them. You work on them, you put them back in shape. There are some you can't
do anything about.
Yes, so you change. You request for new ones.
Will you go to a fire scene Will you go to a fire scene with a hose that has a hole in or holes in them?
No. You don't go to a fire scene with best hose. No. That's what I'm saying. That once you go back,
do you have enough hose?
There are protocols around all of these things. When you identify that they are best hoses. When you go back to base, you work on them. If you can't work on them, they are beyond repair. You request for new ones.
You discard them?
Yes, and request for new ones.
How long does it take for you to have new ones when you request for them? Or they are available when you request?
We have hoses.
So that's not a part of the challenges.
You see, you can't have. I mean, it is a challenge because at every point in time you are supposed to have a lot.
She said your men were willing to work. Yes. She gives thumbs up to them. But she also said water issues. And again, anytime we have conversations, there are issues of and this is not the first time you have explained what the issue is. There's no way a tender will be sitting at a fire station without water in them. But then when you go to a fire scene, because you use a lot of pressure for fighting fire, you run out of water in the tank. But then you have to step out and look for what? Hydrants.
If there are hydrants around, you can even prime from open sources.
You said that response time is supposed to be between 4 and 5 minutes.
Yes.
We've talked about challenges you have in terms of logistics and all that. In fighting fire, depending on the kind of fire you're fighting, how many hydrants should be around municipalities or markets or communities? I'm asking this because I don't see why you should get to TUC to fight fire. And then you have to leave TUC and let's say come all the way to Ahonjo or to Asokwa to locate a fire hydrant. So I'm asking, when it comes to fire hydrants, how commonly spread should they be in our communities?
Very, very common. It should be
everywhere.
Everywhere. Because we if you are doing a comparison, if you look at developed world, every 100 meters.
Every 100 meters.
You find
in jurisdictions where things work properly.
Yes.
Every 100 meters there should be some
hydrants around.
What is our story like in Ghana?
Over here, we don't have that many. Even in the Ashanti region, I'm not sure the hydrants around are up to 300.
Let alone for us to say that for every 100 meters you get hydrants available.
Yes. We don't have it here. And you know the story about it. I mean, we tried to talk about this somewhere last year, if you remember, with the water company. I don't know if you remember.
I do. I even saw a video last week where somebody has built over a fire hydrant.
Yes.
The fire service went there to make sure the fire hydrant is available for use when the fire service needs it.
The person fought us.
Yes.
So some of these things. You see, but for the Abofra World one, we sent a tanker.
She said 4 tankers came.
No, I mean tenders, 3 tenders, 1 tanker. We have a tanker that also went there. Whilst the base pump or the base tender is working, the others will go and look for water and come.
Okay.
And I know there's one functional hydrant around the Malcolm area, around the Santasi, TUC area. So I'm sure that is where they went to get water.
Yeah, Eugene.
Yeah, David, on the hydrant, I want to get something. The Greater Kumasi Enclave. How many hydrants do you have roughly? The Greater Kumasi, where there's a lot of business activities.
I think it's over 200.
Functional or the ones that have
hydrants. I'm adding everything.
Ones that have been encroached upon.
But the ones that water.
It is bad.
No, I'm coming. Greater Kumasi. So it tells you that it is not the lack of availability, and that comes to functionality.
No, it goes beyond it. You see, Greater Kumasi. I'm sure you know the area very well.
From so if I'm saying Greater Kumasi, Ejisu to Santase, right? Then maybe you get to Bosomchi. Maybe around where fire service, you go a bit further, Fiyase. Around that stretch. If it's 200, based on I'm talking about, you see, David Ghana
has about 7 metro and municipalities.
Yes. So we are talking about, if you say 200, averagely we are talking about say 70 per metro area, right? Oh no, not 70. My math is bad. David, 10 will be what? 70. 20 will be 1/4, so 30 per metro area, right? That's something that it's not bad when you look at it.
It is. Look at Kote alone.
Okay.
Look at, I mean, just mention some of the areas.
Okay, they are big enough.
Your area, if you have 30,
okay.
area, if you have 30.
But out of the 200, David, I think that the issue is what I'm pointing to is that out of the 200, I doubt we have 100 that you can readily access. I think that
that's what I was driving at.
Exactly. So that's why I brought in functionality. I'm thinking that the
and
thing
you should
will
also
be there.
know that the fires do not. It is not always that the fire will happen at where a hydrant is. If the hydrant is positioned, say, at your area. Your area is top.
But
high,
that's why you said
and
we should have
fire
100 meters.
Yes, so there should be a lot of it around.
And I ask myself, oftentimes when we have these conversations, I put blame on the various assemblies.
They are the problem.
So the various assemblies, for example, the markets are under your supervision. Don't cook in the market. Don't do illegal connection in the market. Don't overload external boards or extension boards. Who is enforcing those laws in our markets?
In fact, the Asafo market that they've newly constructed, it will be interesting if you take our reporters there to see if they have fire hydrant. It will be interesting to know, because you see, you bring in a very interesting point. The assembly supervises the building of the market. They are the custodians of the market.
They are the managers of the market.
So the Kumasi city market, does it have a fire hydrant?
There are hydrants within the market.
Does it work?
If they have not been encroached upon, it's another matter.
Those ones are working.
So David, that's a fantastic point. You are building a new Asafo market. Do we have a fire hydrant there based on the history of that market? It will be interesting.
As we speak right now, if you join us on our YouTube channel right now, and like I say, join us on YouTube, because we're showing you even a senior high school up north, Nobisco, there's a fire outbreak there. Go and see the students, the female students who are all stranded. Now they are supposed to go home till Monday, and this affects classes. It affects lectures. Abofra World, she is being smart. She is doing virtual teaching right now. So that is somewhat helping. What is wrong with us as a people? And that's what I was talking about, the assemblies. So, Oforukum, and we have markets around. And then, if you say the markets are under the assemblies, have you been to the markets to get to know whether the wiring there is up to the right standard? Have you checked whether the hydrants have been encroached upon? And even if they have not been encroached upon, whether they are functional fire hydrants? We're having so many fires. And if you listen to Auntie Mariam, the fire personnel are willing to work, but the tools to work with, the resources to work with, is not adequate. As I sit here, I'm being careful. And I was telling my guys yesterday, there's this guy who's doing some renovative work, by my house. I think we're just getting to or changing the tiles, and has brought in a tiler. The tiler is working, and in the front of my house, I've created a space where people sit to relax. This guy comes to sit there on a brick, and he was smoking. To my side there's bushes. I tried to clear the bush because I my side said so. But I tried to spend some money to clear the bush. And no, George. Fortunately for me who know. I'm the master George who so do me here. That's a only 2 room. That's a shit. Ever shit that me no be dinner. We see some of these things and we don't talk about it. Auntie Miriam, her investment. Also be 100. No, sorry you. Share the atono. So my question then that I want to ask again is, what simple fire prevention steps are residents and traders still ignoring that could drastically reduce outbreaks? Yesterday, for example, I was talking about we need to have these things.
The smoke detectors.
The smoke detectors, the fire detectors. Not to have them for show, but they should have batteries in them that should be working. Again, yesterday I was asking, if you go to the hostels, we have several hostels because there are several universities all around. People are building hostels. Have you been to the hostels to check whether they have fire extinguishers in each and every room?
Yes, we go to the hostels.
Do they have enough fire extinguishers?
They have.
The hostels?
Yes.
They have enough. When you say enough, what do you mean? Should every room or every floor have?
If you see, this is a purely technical area. Extinguishers. There's a way, the minimum distance you are supposed to install.
And the hostels meet the minimum distance?
A lot of the hostels. I can't say for all, but I can say, there's a team that goes around periodically to look at some of these.
And they have correct exit. They have correct exit points. The students know how to use the fire extinguishers.
Yes, they take them through these trainings.
And these fire extinguishers are serviced when their time is due?
People go around to do that. We have officers that go around to check all these things. So the minimum safety, basic safety things that you are supposed to have. You mentioned one of them, the smoke detector.
The fire detectors.
It's good
The
you have
extinguishers.
them. It's good you have them because you see, when it is night, you are sleeping and there's a fire there. It will be difficult for you to notice that there's a fire. So it is the smoke detector that will detect a fire and alert you so that you can respond.
If it's in a,
And
if it's in a
response,
market,
early response is very, very critical.
if it's in a market, how does it help? If you have a smoke detector or a fire detector
normally
in a
the
market, how
smoke
does it help?
detectors we have are for enclosed areas. So if the market is an open one, you can't have those ones. So the individual shops that are enclosed can have smoke detectors there. But for the market, yeah, that's why you're supposed to have security there, who are supposed to ensure in the night that when there's nobody there, they can secure the place and ensure that the place is safe. If there's any fire, they can quickly alert the authorities for us to move.
We'll be activating our phone lines, shortly, listeners.
Let's also get smoke extinguishers as well. They are first aid fire appliances. Once you have them and there's fire, you can use them to tackle the fire. Every fire starts very small.
Yeah.
Very, very small.
Yeah.
The fire that we are talking about, it started very small. So if you have extinguishers and you know how to use them, it will not put your life also in danger. You can use it to handle the fire even before the fire service gets in.
If a fire starts right now, let's say in someone's home or someone's shop, what are the first 3 things they should do before your team arrives?
Okay, so one, you have to check the what is burning. No, I mean, I need you to secure yourself first. Ensure that where you are in the building,
You are safe.
you are safe.
Okay.
If you are not safe, you have to move out quickly. You have to also call the fire service, so that whilst we are on the way and you can do something about it, you do it. So the next thing is that if you can do something about it, you do it. That is, if you have an extinguisher, you can use it to tackle the fire.
Listeners, you can call us now. I don't know whether you've learned anything this morning. I don't know what thoughts you have about, the fire situation in the region now. January alone, I said it at one point in time, within 72 hours, we had 3 different fires. So which meant that every day we had some fire. Every single day there was some fire. What are we doing wrong? Can we blame the fire service? Should we be blaming ourselves? Should we be blaming the assemblies? What are we doing wrong? How do we get it right? And P, from where I sit and from what we know, there will be more fires this year. The extent of fire, the gravity of fire is something that I cannot think of or I cannot fathom. But what can we do based on what we've witnessed so far? What can we do to prevent more fires as we speak? What should we be doing? Kofi Bedu, good morning. Hello, Kofi.
We'll talk later.
Kofi Bedu.
Yes, my good friend, Dave. You see, Dave, we have 2 disasters, natural disaster and man-made disaster. And natural disaster, as you know, we have, heavy storm and earthquake, and sometimes torrential rain that also causes death and all that. But specifically, fire is a man-made disaster. Because God, I don't know, unless somebody tell me, God doesn't actually set fire on the earth. Unless perhaps a volcano, that doesn't happen in Ghana here. Doesn't happen in Africa. So fire specifically is a man-made disaster. Through somebody set a fire or a gadget, you can't say there's a fault of God. That gadget, developed a fault and it catch fire. So fire specifically is a man-made disaster, and that is what we have to take critical look at it. You see, other than that, because even when you come to flood too, the flood, it's a torrential rain, people have birds in the waterways, people have feeling on waterway, like Auntie Mariam said, that people were feeling at a backyard. And like I've told you some time ago, even just so from Jati Jansi to Akari, somebody is feeling on a bridge. So these are some of the things that we have to take critical look at it. You see, the fire hydrant, I will urge our guests in the studio, if we you know, and also, I mean, David, as you know, that radio gets results. If you know any of the fire hydrants that people have built on, Mutaka is very hard-working guy. Let us petition him, and we can get through him. I mean, we can get him so easily. For him to take critical look at some of the hydrants that people have built on, he can easily put down some of this. We know him; he's a very strong guy. So these are some of the things that I can say for that.
Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate your call. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. Listen, we're talking about fires, and the speed at which fires are, happening, the damage, the destruction, loss of, property, livelihoods, and all. It's crazy. Listen, you can be doing the right thing, but somebody's negligence is going to create a problem for you. How do we win this together? Balfour, good morning.
Good morning, David. David, I want to talk about this. Many a time when we are talking about fires, and we are also talking about the challenges with the Ghana Fire Service, when we bring the officers in the studio, they try to downplay the real situations. From where I sit and from information that I'm privy to, I know the Ghana National Fire Service, especially in the Ashanti region, they have serious challenges, especially with fire tenders. When the late commander was alive, they were cannibalizing parts of tenders. So they move this engine to this one, they move that part to this one, and then they use it. Then they move this part to the other one. Old fire tenders, some of them very, very old, and declared obsolete. We keep cannibalizing and bringing them back and trying to salvage the situation and all that. You see, we should be able to say the truth so that, when you are able to say the truth, then people who have money will even come together and say, let's contribute and help. If you have water, fire hoses, and then you take it to a fire scene, and you come, you are given an opportunity, you say it so that we can do a GoFundMe and get you proper equipment if government is not able to fund it. But to dance around the tune and behave as if everything is all right, meanwhile, nothing is right. We all know Ashanti Region Fire Service is in need of fire tenders. And we are cannibalizing, bringing parts from here, bringing parts from there, bringing parts from here. So I just want to appeal to Yenina Mamen Kanitri, Ubia Wutie Mibia, Fire Service war and Timia Nuru where you muntem. Now, Oman discharge duty the way also Mianwa. Men and Kwabu personnel, no. They are poor people trying to discharge their duties with nothing.
Balfour, we hear you. Thank you very much. Elijah, hold the line for me, please. Owusu. Hello, Owusu.
Morning.
Owusu, good morning, and thanks very much for joining us. Let's have you share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, I sincerely think that the fire service team, you have been interviewing them quite a lot. That's okay. But let's escalate who we are interviewing. And let's talk to the people who actually have the capacity to make decisions for that binds the fire service. Because clearly the fire service team, they are a group of individuals who have specialized knowledge in dealing with fires. But they don't determine or make procurement decisions and all of that. So if they run out of devices or they are, whatever it is they are using gets broken down, it's the authorities that are responsible for fixing them or for making provision for them. I think we have to bring them to the studio and begin to question them why they are leaving our men and women officers on the ground without even the appropriate gadgets whatsoever it is to work and to be able to save. Because if not, the gentleman here, if you ask him, I think that it will be much ado about, because he's only trying his best. How do you go to fight fire with a hose that is perforated so the pressure is low? How far can that pressurized water actually even reach? So we really have to more, like somebody said, go fund me of a sort. If the government is so tired, then perhaps maybe the citizens we could come together and then get this done for our service.
Well, thank you very much, Owusu. And I think that it's about time we bring the regional minister in, bring the interior minister in, because Muntaka promised some 100, fire tenders. Where are we with the fire tenders and all that? Thanks very much, Owusu. Elijah, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Yes, welcome, sir.
Thank you. My take on this is I think it's time employers take it upon themselves to engage fire service to train more fire marshals in our various institutions. We are talking about rampant fires around this time in our country. And the number of fire service that we have, I don't think they are enough. So before they even come to our institutions, the harm has already been done. So I plead, if you can take this upon yourself and then talk to the employees, engage fire officers, let them come in, train us, so that we know the first aid in terms of fire. As soon as the fire happens, we may be able to tackle it before it escalates. If it escalates and the fire people are not in, it means properties are going to lose. And even we can even lose human beings. So this is my take. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much as well for joining us. And that was Elijah there. Is there anything you want to respond to? Because I'd like to go on WhatsApp to share some voice notes as well.
I think the challenges, we have said it time and again. Every time we get the opportunity, we talk about it. As we speak now, we have only 18 fire attendants
for the whole Ashanti region.
Yes, we have 26, but some are out of commission. So 18, only 18, 17 rather. 7, the 43 MMDAs that we have in the region. We keep on talking about this, but I think Bafo, I don't know if he doesn't follow us, but we keep on talking about it.
Like I said, we need to get.
And we say even those that are working are old. They are very old. They are supposed to be replaced.
Let's take a listen to this voice note and see if there's a response we can give to the person.
Good morning, Dave. I trust you are doing well. Yeah, my question is, if fire service is having all these challenges, why are they recruiting? They are recruiting people to come and do what? So why can't they use that money they are using to pay their salaries to help them get some of the equipment or whatever they need? I don't get it. What is wrong with us as a nation? Thank you.
Well, thank you too for sharing. Your response, please.
Okay, this one is policy that goes beyond me. I mean, that is a policy direction for the service and for the government. They want to recruit. I'm sure the budget also mentioned some 100 tenders and equipment. So I'm sure they are doing both.
I hear you. Take a listen to this.
Good morning, the Superman, David Akwete and the crew. Please, this is Political Thinker recording from Achumako, Florida. These days, even bushfires are not common again. But now, in fact, this fire in the city and in the other areas are becoming so alarming. And a fire is meant to happen disastrously. But even though sometimes there are some deliberate action by some people that we call arson. But this is the reason why fire service people are there. Because if you look at this Sofoli issue, the fire service is just closest to the place. So what were they doing? And all these properties just got burnt. So the fire people need to be up and doing, because you cannot sit in your service station not having water inside your tanks.
Those are the thoughts of some of our listeners there. Somebody sends a message and says, Crapper Golf filling station. Somebody fries eggs there, and it's risky. Are you aware?
No, I'll have to talk to the the
And you are,
officer concerned to look at it.
I'm sure there's a manager at the fuel station.
There's also a manager at the
And
fuel
the
station.
manager, your job is to supervise and make sure that things are done right. Even you have displayed, most filling stations display, turn off your mobile phone, turn off your engine, turn off this, turn off that. Yet you go to some of the places, or say more battery problem, more startup problem, to fuel, saying. How do you allow somebody to come and fry egg at a filling station? Well, P, as someone said, some of the things are beyond you, and I agree entirely that some of the things are beyond you. But like I was asking a while ago, we're doing education, yet we're reporting and recording more fires. And we're being told that these are high-profile fires and all that. Based on what you've witnessed in the past month of January, as PR for the fire service, what's the plan going forward?
So, together with the RCC, we are rolling out some new strategies.
Can you share with us?
Some of them include collaborating with the Information Service Department to use the vans across the region to go to the various markets and educate them, and the commercial centers as well. Include patrol, doing a lot of patrols within the markets, especially at night, and also some enforcement as well. So those are some of the things I can talk about now.
Well, for me, I would say this, that if you're a parent and you're listening to me, you know, if you're a landlord, you're listening to me, you're a tenant, you're listening to me, yes, you are responsible for your own protection when it comes to your property and your life. But in as much as you're protecting your own property and your life, be mindful of the fact that there are many people around you who do not care a hoot. They just live their lives anyhow. And so their negligence could create a problem for you. So be vigilant. That's what I want to leave you with. Be vigilant. And as we hind down, we say, now we never be akofa hita. And as we never be akoye bibi. Ne dan kwa issue. Na ne noma ne be na be fra wo de. Na obre nyina na akoye kwa. Let's do the right things. And for those of you who drive cars, make sure you have fire extinguishers in your cars as well, and make sure that they work. Sometimes when the police says, "Make sure fire extinguisher number was on the yempe," but when they are checking it, it should not be the responsibility of the police officer to check your fire extinguisher for you. It should be something that you know will protect that property you have. Let's get it right. Let's do the right thing. P, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you too for having me.
All right.